Hello, my name is Christopher Moore, and my partners are Brandon, Hayden, and Jekyo. We're going to be going over our team project part 3. So I'm going to start with the executive summary, and we found that as far as liquidity ratios, Samsung actually had better liquidity ratios, but this is due in part to just because they have more assets, and so that can affect the ratios. And part of this is, like for the current ratio, Apples are also using investors, and throughout the project we'll every once in a while talk about financial independence, which is kind of like a reoccurring theme. And we believe that Samsung has more financial independence, and Apple has less, which means Apple's riskier, Samsung's safer. But we'll kind of show throughout, especially the ratios, how those risks are paying off with higher profitability. And Apple is also growing in sales as well. So we first decided to look at smartphones, and one of the popular smartphones is Apple products. And looking at Apple, Apple currently has one of the biggest market shares for smartphones. We're also going to look at Samsung, which is a very big competitor in the smartphone market. And the reason both of these companies are so focused on the smartphone market is it's a very fast-growing, very large market. So throughout, we're going to go through the overview first, ratio analysis, and where we give ratios and then kind of talk about what each of those ratios means for the company and what we think about how those ratios turned out. We're going to go over the DuPont analysis, and we'll finish up with a summary of all of our findings. So, Apple is specialized in the production of a wide variety of consumer and industry computer software. So they also make a lot of things. Same with Samsung as well, makes a lot of home electronics. So both of these companies are also very large companies. In fact, there is almost like 1/3 employees that work for Samsung. And Apple is also very large because they have 506 stores across 25 countries. Each of those stores are part of stores in 44 out of 50 of the states in America. Samsung doesn't have any of their own stores in America. They actually rely on retailers like Best Buy. But in Korea, South Korea, they have their own stores. As far as their CEOs, the CEO of Samsung is Lee Byung-chul, and currently we have Tim Cook for Apple. Let's see. Apple is it's currently in California, and Samsung is in Kanam Kim. As far as their revenues, they have about each $50 billion. Samsung is about $50 billion, and Apple's revenue is $53.3 billion. For their CFOs, we have Luca Maestri for Apple, and Samsung has Hicham Ran. Both of these have very good relationships with investors, and that's important because you need good investor relationships.